What's up, YouTube? First and foremost, shout out to my subscribers. We're growing every single day. I'm almost at 300. Let's keep running those numbers up. Hit the like for me, please. Subscribe if you enjoy the content. Can't wait till I get to 1,000 subscribers so I can go ahead and go live and talk to y'all. It's been great. Shout out to the donations. I've only got a couple. If you do want to shout out directly, like if you send me a donation, put in the message and I'll give you a shout out. It's no problem. I had a comment saying would I be willing to shout out someone if they send a donation? Yeah, absolutely. Just let me know though. So name of this video is One Paycheck Away from Being Homeless. I talk about this several times in some videos and stuff, like similar content. This actual video idea is something that I had in my mind, but Joey the Gypsy, someone who I actually subscribe to, I've done some videos on some of the same topics as him. I've mentioned him before. If you like my content, you'll definitely like his. He's a real funny guy, really cool, very knowledgeable, goes on some crazy rants from time to time, but yeah, dude's funny, and shout out to him. But yeah, one paycheck away from being homeless. Yeah, so we touched on some of the points that he talked about, and then I'm also going to talk about a lot of stuff with me. So yeah, when I was truck driving, if you haven't watched my content before, I have some great videos that explain stuff, so stick around and rock with me. Yeah, when I was truck driving and I was OTR, I had no house. Like, I left to go become a truck driver. The whole time I'm doing that, I felt homeless. I felt extremely vulnerable. Like, if something should happen to me, like if I get sick or I get hurt really, really bad, in the beginning I didn't have the money like to even get a hotel. Excuse me, I have to fix my notepad. But yeah, I felt homeless. I felt like, what's going to happen, and things like that. I was able to save money. Save some money, and then also really take care of debt, because before all that stuff, I was one paycheck away from losing it all. And this all happened around 2020. When I decided to be a truck driver with the job that I already had. I had a job that I was working over 12 years straight, no breaks, nothing. I did that job, and then I would pick up side jobs just to make ends meet. So I barely, like, my first job paid for everything just so I had a roof over my head, and it was cutting it very, very close. My car was a beater. I had to get a second job. The second job was a part-time job, but it was full-time. It was full-time work, but I was getting paid part-time money. I was just trying to make the best that I can, with what I had going on. From like over 6 months of saving that second little paycheck and literally eating top ramen and not buying any extras and nothing like that, I was able to get a better car. My car was on the outs. It was a beater car. I never took it on the freeway. Needed the tires. My blinkers at one point stopped working. I would try to work on my car and get it going. It never left me stranded, thank God. And it was good locally though, like picking up groceries and going to work. I never got left stranded, thank God. Yeah, living paycheck to paycheck, and I was one paycheck away from being homeless. When I got into truck driving, I felt like I had no home. I knew that if anything should happen, it's the same reason right now I'm homeless. I live in my car. If you guys didn't know, so my subscribers know. If this is the first time you're watching my video. Yeah, I live in my car, and I've been living in my car for quite some time. So basically, living paycheck to paycheck like that, I get into truck driving. I felt like I was absolutely homeless. Yeah, my world opened up when I started picking up and delivering in every single state. Of course, I've never been to Alaska, and of course I've never been to Hawaii. But I picked up and I've delivered in every state except for Florida. That's one when I can remember that I'd been to Florida before, but I never drove in there. Never picked up or delivered there before. A lot of people were surprised about that, but yeah, I was on the road, and I also have over 2 years of truck driving experience. So that's another thing too. I get some comments on there like, hey, things are really, really hard in the beginning when you're a rookie. I was truck driving for 2 years. I got very, very good at it. I got very good at it very, very quick. It was, there's things that I really enjoyed about it, and there's things that I don't. When I got off from doing OTR, I did my time and all that stuff. When I got off there, I was dehydrated, man. It took me about 5 days until I started feeling good and actually seeing the correct color when I used the men's room. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and then of course, it started becoming living paycheck to paycheck again when I started working local and regional jobs as truck driving. So now I got myself an apartment. I fixed my credit up. I started paying off a lot of my debt at the time. Now I got a little bit of money. Okay, what I got offered seemed like it was more money than what OTR was paying, and I could be home every night. So I had no work balance. And just letting you know, when I did OTR, I didn't have a home. So do you think I took home time? No, never took home time, man. So like, the only time that I had like a little bit of a break is doing rolling 34s, and that's when I was with my trainer. And then by myself, if I had to do a 34, I tried to do my best to make sure it was at a decent truck stop so I could actually wash my clothes and take a longer shower. And if there was a restaurant nearby, I could walk to it and get something to eat or stock up on groceries. But it still felt like work. It was like all I did was try to make like I didn't have time off for like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and binge watch Sopranos, or I'm gonna binge watch Family Guy or South Park or whatever. I'm not gonna watch Star Wars and watch the Force of Darth Vader. You know what I mean? Or Thanos. Marvel movies or whatever. But yeah, living paycheck to paycheck when I'm doing local and regional, and I've gotten into that in some of my other videos, but since you're here, I'll talk about it. This is basically the tractors and trailers were always messed up. There were air leaks constantly. That's something I didn't have to deal with OTR. I was with a mega carrier, so like you'd get called in constantly, to their different hubs and stuff, and then their roadside service and stuff like that. Yeah, you got to wait 3 or 4 hours, but they actually showed up. Local and regional, no. There's been so many times that there was a flat on a trailer, and they say no, just wait until roadside service comes, then take that load. I'm waiting there all night, and they never show up, and I'm calling every hour, calling the dispatcher. Hey, can you give me something else? Can you give me something else? Nobody's here yet. No, they just want me out there, and cents per mile. So I'm sitting out there, and I know that there's you wait a little bit. If you're broke down or whatever, it's like $14 an hour. And I'm not getting along with dispatchers, and I'm not getting along with the people in the office. All the drivers love me though. They all see that I'm doing the right thing. And then it started becoming a culture of, I'd rather something bad happen to you than happen to me. And I was telling the other drivers, hey, we don't have to, they'll have to fix these trailers if all of us agreed to not take them. And that was what the issue was. Is I was saying I'm not taking this trailer because it's messed up. And here's what's messed up about it. There's an air leak, or the tandem is seized up, man. I can't slide my tandems. I'm never going to be able to make weight. There's a big old hole in the sidewall, or this axle hub is leaking. Or I do see white powdery mildew around the lug nuts, or I do see unauthorized welds in the catwalk. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing all this stuff, and I don't have to look very hard. Clearance light out. Brake lights out. All that crap, man. And it's constant. And because other drivers are willing to take this stuff and I am not, they got pissed off. They always try to make you feel like you're the only person that has an issue. And I'm telling them, hey, I've been inspected by DOT 5 times working for this one particular company. 5 times. The person who trained me had over 20 years driving trucks. He was a master diesel mechanic. He also was in the Air Force, and he only been inspected once, and he's been doing OTR, as far as I understand, OTR and training people for the last 3 years. But he was a truck driver for over 20 years, and And everybody that I met during trucking school, or people that truckers I talked to at truck stops and stuff, they've never been inspected. I've been inspected that much. Everybody in that company, there was this one particular dude who was getting inspected every single week. He was a local route, and he was a daytime driver. I'm driving at night, and he got inspected every single week. This company, it just always happened, and the DOT was always outside of our yard. They pulled us over, and they pulled everybody else over too. And That's just the way that they work. They were never jerks about it. They were never rude to me. They just they were doing their job, and I always passed because I always took care of what I was supposed to. I made sure that that there was no air leak that they can hear. There was no air leak to begin with. That my trailer was in good standing. I pre-tripped, and I wasn't lazy about it. So living paycheck to paycheck, doing local, because now they're not giving me, they're mad with me, so they're not going to give me any routes that pay any decent money, no cents per mile. They're asking me to shuttle trailers that are about $14 per shuttle. 15 bucks per shuttle, but they're in locations that are going to take you at least an hour to go ahead and shuttle back and forth. It could take you a lot longer, but it could, so now you're making 40-50 bucks that day. So what am I doing now? Now that that's going on and I'm not making ends meet, I'm starting to use my credit cards a little bit more often. Oh, okay, I'll only have to pay this bill with this. Let me, do that. And it starts stacking up. So now it's paycheck to paycheck, and now I'm leaning on my credit cards and stuff that I actually finally, had leveled it out when I was doing OTR. I was dipping into the money that I already had, went through that the money I saved up. Now I'm using my credit cards, and the whole time I guess I'm stubborn. I'm thinking in my head like, things will get better. This is going to help me with my experience. Now that I look good for OTR, and now I can go ahead and have that regional and that local experience. And there was a lot of stuff that was really helping me out, experience wise. Like when I was doing OTR, I was used to literally backing into a dock maybe twice a week. Now that I'm doing local and regional, there's times where I'm literally connecting up to 6 trailers. I've done over 6, but I've connected to 6 different trailers all night and took all 6. Backed them into different docks. That's not very fun, but I started getting really quick on dropping hooks. When I was OTR and I got a dropping hook, it would take me about an hour and a half. Now it's like, okay, it'll take me about 20 minutes, and literally 5 minutes of it is just backing and connecting, and then the other 10 minutes is doing a really good pre-trip. I had everything down to a system. Everything was a routine for me. I really knew how to go through everything to make sure it was okay. And if it wasn't okay, I'm not going to take it. So I'm doing that, and I'm like, all right, maybe maybe something will get better. Maybe it's just like this for now. Maybe there's other companies. So I ended up going to another company. After 6 months. After 6 months of nonsense, and I already did my OTR stuff. Now 6 months. So okay, at least I can go ahead and say I went and now I got 6 months of this on top of my OTR. I'm like, okay, with this new company, I'm not going to go into all the details of, I have them in other videos of what happened with the second company. I'm now with a third company. The third company, I was thinking, what do I need so I'm not living paycheck to paycheck? What am I gonna need to go ahead and start catching up on my bills again and my credit cards and everything else? What am I gonna have to start doing? All right, well, I want to get paid for my time. Now, if I'm getting paid for my time and I'm getting paid hourly for truck driving, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that like now they can't mess with my money so much. Now they're not going to, if they ask me to shuttle crap all night, I'm going to get paid something hourly. Then I thought in my head, hey, if it's hourly like that, if they're asking me to work overtime, which is totally cool, I want to work for a company that will give me time and a half or pay me more than what I'm supposed to. So I'm talking to, I'm doing my research, and I come across something that looks really, really good. Night driving home every day, $27 an hour. I think that if you drove during the day, it'd be $25, so $2 more. And I prefer driving at night when it's local and regional. There's risk between both of them, right? Like, during the day, you can see things more. It's a lot less likely for you to hit a deer or an animal run in front of you, that kind of stuff. Nighttime, less traffic, cooler during summers, less cars. Sometimes it gives me just that extra second or two to actually see the street and not feel all the pressure of all the cars trying to go around me and honk at me because I'm a big slow truck. You know what I mean? So I find a job, and I thought it was like like, okay, this meets all my criteria, man. You know, it's $27 an hour, and then it's time and a half after 40. I'm home every single day. It's actually a lot closer to where I live now. That will save on gas. That'll be, that'll be awesome. I go to orientation, and orientation was real good. Like, I remember when they were for lunch, they give us literally menus, and they said order whatever you want, and in fact, order more than what you're going to eat so you can take it to the hotel room with you. And I remember, like, man, that is crazy. You know, sodas, waters, coffees. If you during orientation, if you wanted to go somewhere, they'd book you an Uber for you to go and do it, and they paid for all of it. Like, we were treated very, very good. And then we do road tests, man. I'm awesome on it, you know. Like, damn, dude, you really know how to back in, man. You really know how to do this, you know. Like, it's more than just knowing really how to do it. It's like, wait a minute, you know, for somebody who's you know, been driving, I think at that time like 15 months of experience I had, you know, 15, 16 months, yeah, probably 16 months, or no, 18, year and a half for somebody who's only been driving for a year and a half. Damn, dude, you know, you really, you know, I'd get thumbs up from truck drivers all the time. Strangers would see me back into a very tight spot. I got you know, really good at that stuff, man. You know, I can control the trailer really well, basically what I'm getting at. And I gotta tell you, that's one of the fun parts for me is I like backing trailers. When I first started truck driving, I couldn't back to save my life. Couldn't even set up for me to get a good back. But after time, and more than just after time, when I was with my trainer after I got my license for that 30 to 50,000 miles I first had to do with him, that dude taught me how to follow my wills. He's like, you know, there's a lot of people when they're learning, they're like, where, you know, how long do I keep my wheel hard right for? How long do I got to keep it for hard left for? You know, I can look at my wheels and I can go ahead and basically, you know, connect the dots with physics, and I can go ahead and finesse it in there and purposely and be surgical about the way I back in there. And that's all thanks to my trainer. He taught me how to do that stuff. Before going in, I had no experience driving trucks. I never even had something connected to a truck before. Like, I've never had like you know, I've never towed anything. I think the biggest truck I ever drove was like maybe a small U-Haul to move. That's about it. Or a Toyota Tundra. You know, I had a buddy who had a Toyota Tundra, and I drove that a couple times. You know, that was basically my experience with that. So, you know, I thought I was doing everything cool, and you know, the orientation was great. Same problem as the first one, except for like even worse. Now these drivers have a bigger incentive to take the dirtiest and the most messed up ones. My first day on that job, the truck they gave me had zero oil. There was just a little tiny speck of oil that was on that dipstick, and it was burnt so bad it looked like char. It looked like black char that had been re-roasted about 20 times. I take pictures of that, and I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to be a diva. I don't need a brand new truck. I go, but I am not. I won't even take this to go get oil. This is. That engine is likely already busted, and if not, it's gonna bust as soon as I take off there, and then it's gonna, you know, make me look bad. You know, I'm not taking it. Sorry about that quick transition. I do gig apps, and I got an order I was looking at, and it was like DoorDash. I was like trying to see if it was any good, but anyways, so I felt like I was, you know, I got back to, not even feels like, I am literally you know, thinking everything's gonna be cool, but it's paycheck to paycheck, and you know, some of those paychecks were good because I got lucky with no bad trailers that week, and start paying off my debt a little bit. But then like usual, because I'm letting them know what trailers are messed up and which ones I'm unable to take, but I'm willing to work hard, and I'm like, you know, I'm not even willing to work hard. I have a very good work ethic. I'm okay with you know, coming in with just a couple minutes left on my clock, you know, and you know, I'm not trying to go home early. I'm not acting sick or nothing like that. I always show up. I have like 0 sick days. You know what I mean? But yeah, they started only giving me a couple hours of work a week, a couple hours at night, and just no trailers. You know, they were giving everybody else the routes. They figured, okay, we're not gonna you know, put them on, we're not gonna dispatch them on this because we know those trailers are bad. And I said the people that will are willing to take them, not even willing to take them, they would love to. And a lot of this stuff, I have pictures of the kind of trailers they were taking, man. Catastrophic calamities of fatalness could happen at any second, and negligence would be the professional truck driver's fault. 100%, you know, and I'm just not going to do that. So while that's going on, I'm like, all right, you know, I'm seeing a trend all over again from the, you know, this company is looking a lot like the last one, you know, so I started doing research, you know. Okay, I'm back to using my credit cards. I'm back to, you know, falling on hard times. You know, I'm very scared that I'm not going to be able to, you know, afford my my apartment. You know, what am I going to do? So while that's all going on, I'm doing research. Okay, I think I found something. I think maybe what I need is not, instead of being home every day, I need to be out. Probably not as bad as OTR, but not as often as local regional. You know what I mean? I need something that, you know, I'm out 5 days and I come home on the weekends. So I find a company that that I thought I did really good research on, and I saw what, you know, like they had dedicated accounts. They had a dedicated customer. You know, a lot of them looked like they were dropping hooks. Money looked good, and you know, they had a mega carrier's name, and they were paying like 60 cents per mile at the time, and they were guaranteeing that, like, as long as you were willing to work X amount of money. You know what I mean? I think, you know, it looked good. So I called a recruiter. I go through the process, and they're like, yeah, we can send you a train ticket. I mean, they love, you know, the recruiters that love to, you know, like the companies that want to send you a train ticket. That, to me, it's like, wait a minute, dude, you know, spring for the rent a car, you know, rent a car and stuff like that, you know, especially if I'm going to be OTR for 5 days and I got to set up a truck. I need my belongings with me. I like to have a microwave in there. You know, I like to be able to, you know, have, you know, my clothes, you know, stuff like that. If I'm going to be living in the truck, I'm trying to still live on very minimal stuff, but there's things that in there that I need that will save me money instead of always eating at a truck stop. And a truck stop food is not good 99% of the time. You know, I mean, it's food and it's expensive and it's greasy and it can be upset stomach and make you overweight, you know, if you eat too much of it, you know. But so found a company, and I was like, I'll rent a. They tell me, so they try to give me a train ticket. They said if I rent a car, they'll reimburse me, but they just don't rent cars, you know. And I'm like, all right. Man, once I got that, I had a sneeze. So I rent a car, put it on my credit card, go all the way out there. I got not all my stuff that I would like to set the truck up with, but I got a good majority of it, man. And I go ahead and I'm going through orientation. Everything's looking good. You know, I have to watch stupid videos. I have to learn about, you know, what the company does, how to, you know, what their procedures, their policies, their macros, all that stuff. Comes to the road test, right? And actually, I'm gonna finish the story and then talk about some other stuff, so stick with me here. So I go ahead and I do the road test. When I'm doing the road test, the guy who's giving me the road test doesn't even have a CDL, doesn't even have a Class A. He's not a truck driver. He said that he used to be a truck driver a long time ago. Very old man. We're driving, and the whole time I'm there, they're bragging about how not many people actually pass their particular road test. And that the whole time the guy, when he's saying that, I tell him, I'm like, are you trying to trick the driver? Because here, you know, here's what goes on, man. Real drivers, you know, like 99.9 of us, what happens is we don't go anywhere without knowing where we're going to go. We pre-plan our trips, and we also have you know, backup plans. If this truck stop is full when I get there, or this rest area is full, or if I'm unable to get into there because the turn doesn't look right, whatever the case may be, I got this location that's, you know, 50 miles more. I have this one. You know, we plan for the best of our abilities, and that's what literally helps us. You know, like, that's what makes it professional. If I'm in a car, I don't need to go ahead and see where Wendy's or McDonald's is. I'm in a car. It's no problem. You know, I'm not gonna go underneath a bridge. My car's not too big for any bridge. You know what I'm saying? But a commercial vehicle is. You know, and you have to have that respect for it. You know. So, I asked him, you know, are you trying to trick people? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, that's not really what a driver does, man. I mean, that's not a real road test, but okay. So when I'm driving with doing the road test, he tells me to take an exit, and before the exit even appears, it says no trucks allowed. You know, like trucks restricted, no trucks allowed. When he asks me to take that exit, I thought that was the trick. I thought he asks people to do that and tricks them. And there's under no circumstance, if I see a sign that says no truck access or no, restricted on trucks, no trucks entering, that kind of stuff, I'm gonna listen to that sign. And I'm going to listen to that sign because I don't want to get stuck. If I get stuck and I don't know what to do, that means I'm going to spend, I'm going to have to call the local authorities and, maybe even get towed out or, have to call them because of X, Y, and Z. I'm just not interested. It says no trucks. I'm going to respect that sign and I'm not going to risk it. That sign knows better than I do. Let's put it that way. So I see that sign and I say, I'm absolutely not taking it. He's like, no, don't take it. Take it. And I'm like, no. I'm not taking it, dude. And I told him why. And then he starts griefing and gruffing and, pouting. And he's like, if you would have took that, it had an on-ramp right after it that you crossed the road, and then there's an on-ramp directly on it. He's like, you were supposed to listen to me. I'm the one who's giving you a road test. He says that, and I said, but am I still crossing a road that says that no trucks are allowed to do it? So technically, I'm still not supposed to do it, but how am I supposed to know that? I would know that if I was pre-planning it, but I told them I wasn't going to take it, and I thought that was the trick because they were bragging about it the whole 4 or 5 days that I was there before the road test. We get back to the place, and he goes and he reports to his boss, the person like who's running the orientation classroom guy, and he talks to him, and he calls me in the office, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna have to pass on you. And I said okay. And I said I'm not going to convince you of why you should have me as a driver. I said, because you guys already made your mind up, and I don't ever stay or do anything where I'm unwanted. So I could respect that. At least you're telling me. That's fine. I go, but I do want to tell you that I don't go anywhere without knowing what I'm supposed to do. By the way, after that road test, when he was pouting like that, when we got back to the yard, because of his attitude and everything else, I was like, we got to the backing portion, and I was like, do you even want me to back this thing in, man? Like when we got there, I was like, just be straight with me, dude. Are you gonna go in there and tell him because I didn't take that exit, because I didn't take that exit, are you gonna go in there and tell me that that I failed? And he's like, no, it's up to whatever the guy's name was. He's like, it's up to him. I just report to him what happens. He's like, I still like to see you back. I said, okay, fine. I backed that thing up. Didn't have to pull up once. It was just an easy 45. The other people, there was somebody who passed the orientation who set her, she was a female driver, had set herself up for a 90 when it's really a 45, so she didn't know how to set herself up, and she literally had to pull up and back like 8 or 9 times, and that's not exaggerating. She got in, of course. I guess she took the exit, or maybe the guy didn't ask her. I'm not sure. Every road test was one-on-one, and there was like only like 4 or 5 of us in the class at the time, or 4 or 5 of us in the orientation. But I go ahead and do it, and I don't even have to pull up once. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. So when I'm talking to the dude who's telling me, he's like, that I'm not wanted there, and I'm not welcome and everything else, we're gonna have to let you go. I tell the guy, I go, hey, I was told, he's like, I can get you a train ticket out of here. And I said, I rented a car out here, and I was told that you guys would reimburse me. I guess because you're not going to hire me, you're not going to do that. He's like, yeah, because we failed you on the road test, and because we failed you on the road test, we're not paying for it. I was out $400. So I wasn't even doing good. Like, I was not even doing good financially, living paycheck to paycheck, looking for a better trucking place, and I go ahead and try to go there. Costs me money, costs me stress, and now I still got to rent a car to get the hell out of there. I guess I could got a train ticket at that point, but I had too much stuff with me. Like, I'm pretty sure a train or a bus ticket is not going to let me bring that much stuff. So to back up a second, actually, you know what? It was after this. So after this one, I go ahead and think, you know what? Maybe because there's so many trailers that are all busted and messed up, what if I become just a yard dog? What if I just become a yard dog and I don't care at that point? Like, I'm on private property. I'm not going to get written a ticket. If one of these trailers mess up, it's not going to be a calamity. It's not going to be a catastrophe. I'm just literally connecting the trailers and backing them in. Go ahead and find a like, out of all of them, all of them are low paying. Like none of them is going to help me get out of stuff. But there's this one that's just under 40 hours, so no overtime, and they say it's going to be 23 bucks an hour. I'm like, okay. I talked to the recruiter, everything seems good. You know, they do the background, they do all the research. They tell me to come over here for an interview. And this one's not really like the orientation type thing, but I go there, and one of the first things that I get told is this job's not $23 an hour, it's 17. And I said there was no way that I said if I took this job, I'd be homeless. I said I'd be living in my car if I took this job. I can't pay for my rent for my apartment. I would also be not paying bills and not catching up on them. So for $17 an hour, I can't do it. And he's like, well, let me see you do some backing maneuvers. He's like, I'm gonna have this guy, you know, pull over here with I think they're called goats, if I remember correctly. It's the yard dogs, you know, tractor to go ahead and connect and stuff. And I've never driven one before, but I think I know what I'm doing. So I know how to back. So that's all good, right? He's like, let me see you do that stuff, and then we'll talk a little bit more. He's like, and I thought in my head, I was like, I'm not going to take this job for 17 bucks an hour, but I would like to drive this thing. You know, I never driven, you know, this is an opportunity to drive this, and maybe that guy will change his mind once he sees I'm back, you know, the way I back, and like how quick I can connect, and how quick I can back, and how safe I am, and everything else. I go ahead and get on, you know, they tell me what trailer to connect to. This guy's actually standing up inside the goat or whatever, the yard dog's workhorse, whatever you want to call it. I connect to this thing, and he's like, yo, he's like, do a 90, you know, and I said, okay. So 90 is a very, you know, to some people, a very difficult backing maneuver. I go ahead and do it. So connect to this one. He's like, and you know, do a 45, and I do it. And each time I do it, I don't have to pull forward at all. And in fact, I think when I was doing the 90s, he's like, hey, you might want to go ahead and start cutting it now. And I was like, no, I don't need to cut it in now, because I know what I'm doing. And I nailed it. He's like, okay, man, yeah, dude. And he, when after those two back maneuvers, we talked to the guy who, you know, that was interviewing me, and he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm really impressed. That was really good. He's like, and he's like, you know, the job's yours. If you go, just take a drug test, and you're good. And I was like, and he's like, but yeah, $17 is what we offer. And I go, take a look at these emails. Look what the recruiter said. You know, take a look at the text messages. I can call him right now. And he's like, I understand that he said that, but we're only allowed to do 17. So why would, you know, working at Walmart, as far as I understand, is 17. You know what I'm saying? I got to drive trucks, something I work really, really hard on. If I take this job, this is not working, you know, this is not a paycheck to paycheck. At this point, I'm going to have to live in my vehicle. I can't pay for anything. So at this point, I'm still doing like now that, you know, I've had 3 trucking jobs, right? I had the OTR one, I had a regional and local, then I had a third one, regional and local, and now I went ahead and did, you know, the trucking company that was going to be 5 days on and 2 days off, where you know, the road test, because they were trying to trick me, and I wouldn't have taken that no matter what. If it says no trucks accessible, I'm not supposed to even pass it off for the on-ramp, right? Then so I left that place. You know, this is living, you know, one paycheck at a time before homeless. Then the fifth one was a yard dog service, and they lied to get me there, and also didn't offer me very much. And I would have, by taking that, I would have definitely had to live in my car at the time, right? So I'm like, man, okay, let me go back to the looking for a company that's 5 days on and home on the weekends, something that pays okay, and that just, you know, that you know, like I'll do my due diligence. So I thought I'd, you know, and the whole time I'm calling a lot of places, I'm doing research, I'm freaking out, I'm living off credit cards, back in debt, back into all sorts of crap. I go ahead, and I'm still doing work at the time. The work that I'm doing is you know, DoorDash and stuff like that, right? Just gig apps, and I'm doing that, and it's, you know, it's paying for gas, it's paying some of my bills, and some of the you know, some of the bills that I'm not able to catch up on, I'm using credit cards. I go ahead and find this company, and this company looks good. They got a full-size condo sleeper truck. They got refrigerators already in it. That's something I don't have to buy now. That's something that that comes with it. Great. They're saying that it's regional, basically regional driving, but you're out 5 days, and then you're home on the weekends, and all that stuff. So with that particular company, I go ahead and I actually, I'm not too sure what they offered about how I got there. It was around 150, 200 miles from where I lived. I got a ride, and I paid somebody to take me up there. I had told a friend, could you take me up there? When I get back where I'm supposed to park the truck at, pick me up, which is like only 20-30 miles from where I live, and then from then on, what I'll do is I'll leave my car over there, because they said they had secure parking. Leave my car over there, where I drop the truck off, and then what the game plan is out 5 days, and when I go home for the 2 days, I bring the semi where they like at that secure location, and my car is at the secured location. Get in my car and I can go home, and now I'm not bothering people. Now I'm not having to pay people for rides and such. But I go there, and that orientation is the worst one I've ever been to. If you want a water, it's like 75 cents. If you want a soda, it's 75 cents. It's in a crappy little building, and they have brand new trucks that are it looks like they're right in front, but they did that I guess for display. But they got some brand new trucks that are right there, and they have some other brand new trucks that aren't far from it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a brand new truck over this, man. This is, if they got trucks to, if they got brand new trucks to already give, good drivers, I bet their trailers aren't in too bad of condition. And I haven't seen where their trailers, what they look like at that point. Like, I had not inspected them, so I have no idea. But everything was looking okay on that. The actual vehicle that we get into to do our, we had to do go through the company medical physical, and that vehicle was just so ran down and nasty, and had rust all over it, like rust everywhere on the outside. It was a piece of crap. Yeah, it was dirty. The people all seemed like they didn't give a crap. I didn't like that. I told them that too. I was like, one of the HR people, or the person who does like, basically like one of the workers who's like, I don't know, I think she's HR. She's like, how are you enjoying everything? I go, it's pretty crappy, man, that we don't even have a job, and we're not making money, and you guys are trying to charge us for bottles of water. I go, you don't have to roll the red carpets out, but why are you charging us? We're doing orientation, And she's like, yeah, well, we used to give them free, but people were taking advantage. And I'm thinking in my head, who cares if somebody grabs a couple bottles of water? You're a trucking company that does, is making a lot of money here, and why do you always want to shake down and harass the driver? Like, why are you being that petty? Why are you being that that stingy? You want me to work for you, and you want me to probably do you favors, but you can't even give me a damn bottle of water for free. And there's no way in hell I'm drinking the tap water there. No, that ran down place probably had rust in the pipes. I'm not doing it. But yeah, with that company there, so this is the fourth company, and I technically only worked for a week, and I'm going to talk about it. So they give me an old truck. They give all of us old pieces of crap truck. There's only about 5 or 6 of us in that class. We do a road test, all that stuff, pass with flying colors as usual. That truck was a piece of crap, 750,000 miles on it. I go ahead and try to plug in an electric can opener. I always get it mixed up, EPU or APU, but nonetheless, it's not working. The other people are saying the same thing, and they said that you have to have enough wattages. Like, if you plug in just a cell phone charger into it, it's not enough current to turn it on. And you need to pull more. So I'm like, why is it set up like that, man? I've never been into like a truck that needs that. This thing does not have power windows. One of the things I do is before I back up into a place, I roll down the driver's side and the passenger side windows by pressing the 2 buttons, so I can hear everything before I start backing up. That's another safety precaution that I was taught, and I utilize, right? So what, you tell me I'm going to stop, roll this piece of crap window down, lean all the way over here, probably have to undo my seatbelt and run over there and unroll it just so I can have better audio. Well, I can hear better, more audible sounds, so this truck was, and the cruise control was not digital. It was not a digital speedometer either. It was just a piece of crap, man. And all these trucks are programmed with I think a 1500 or 1800 watt inverter for the APU or EPU, and you have to have enough power to pull it out. What I found out from that, because I went to the mechanics next door and I'm like, hey dude, my can opener is not even pulling enough electricity, and now it's electric can opener, I don't understand why. And I said, why is it set up like this? And they're like, because this is what the mechanic guy told me, so I'm gonna go off of his word. He's like, because legally we have to have enough power for you if you have a CPAP. So we have to, our vehicles have to be equipped with an electrical way for you to have a CPAP. So we really don't want you using electricity at all. But the truth is we have to have this in here for CPAP machines. And so that's why if you have to pull 1,000 watts for it to work. Well, CPAPs pull like 14 or 1500 or whatever it is. So that's what was told to me. I go ahead and I'm doing some deliveries. I take that piece of crap truck, thankfully I had a little thing that plugged into the lighter to charge my phone. No electricity. I do some deliveries. I'm working for almost a week, and then my ELD stops working, and then the truck's having issues. I tell them I'm coming in, I need to come into to the mechanic and talk to them, and that my ELD, and they're like, well, just run paper logs. I'm like, I'm not running paper logs, man. I know that I legally can. When my ELD stopped working for that day, and I drive over there, I'm like, of course I'm gonna run paper logs. I'm gonna be legal. I go, but I need the ELD fixed, man. I go, I've been inspected 5 times, and I keep bringing it up. If you run paper logs, even if you're 100% legit, those DOT officers are going to really go through everything. And the first red flag is somebody who has to run paper logs. They want to know why, and they're going to go through you with a fine-tooth comb. And even if you're all legit, it just takes more time, and it's a headache I don't want to that I shouldn't have to deal with. I think having your ELD working is 100% important. If it stops working, you really shouldn't drive your truck, man, unless you're going to get it fixed, So I take it over there. When I take it over there, I'm telling them, and I really need this electricity, dude. I need this electricity. I like to put a microwave in here. By the way, I guess I forgot to mention that it doesn't have a refrigerator in it. They promise that it's not a full-size condo. It's a lightweight condo, and this truck is a piece of crap. You can't even stand all the way up in the back without hitting your head. So it was like even low like that. It had no good features whatsoever. Lots of miles, like I said. But I'm telling them that, and I'm like, yeah. Get the electricity where I can pull it out, man. I go, this isn't right, dude. I don't have a CPAP machine. I don't have anything that will take that much watts so I can use regular stuff, And they're like, a microwave should be able to pull it out. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to buy a microwave. Like make it so this happens. And I go, I need that ELD fixed. I go, if you want me to go back on the road, I need the ELD fixed. They're like, okay, you can keep the tractor parked here, and you stay in here. It's going to be about 3 days before we get a new ELD for you. Not even a used one. They're like, we can't give you anything for 3 days. They're like, if you do that though, you're not going to get your sign-on bonus. The sign-on bonus was $1,200. They're like, so if you wait here for that 3 days to get ELD, you're not going to get your sign-on bonus. We're also with electricity and that sign-on bonus, I'm going to lose it because of your guys' fault. You are the responsible. I'm the company driver. It's not my issue. I report what the issues are. It's also because it's your fault. You're going to take my $1,200 sign-on bonus. You guys have lied to me already, and I guess I'm being very desperate because I'm just trying to keep my apartment. I'm trying to, I'm literally one paycheck away from being homeless, this whole time. When they tell me I'm not going to get my sign-on bonus, I give them the keys and I give them the company cards, and I go, you're going to lose a good driver because of this, and you guys also lied about why you're here. I must be really desperate because I'm willing to work, just try to keep a little bit I have. I go, here's the keys and here's the cards. If you guys are gonna take my sign-on bonus away, I was counting on that. I was depending on that. I was needing that. I go ahead and they said, yeah, go ahead. No trying to talk me out of it. They just turned and burned. They do that. I had no idea that it was going to happen. I had no idea they were going to say that. I was trying to be mindful and positive that they'd go ahead and fix it, and then I can get down the road, and then everything will be all right. The mirrors were all busted up and crappy. So when they do that, I wasn't even expected like that I was going to have to leave. So I carry my stuff, and I have to go ahead and carry my stuff because I'm trying to get an Uber to take me to a rent-a-car place. When I'm trying to do that, I'm getting no signal really for the Wi-Fi. It was a little bit of argument where I'm like, if you guys don't fix this stuff and you're not going to give me my bonus, I'm going to lose the chance of my bonus because I have to sit here for 3 days for something that's your fault. I'm not cool with that. I'll just grab my stuff and leave. They're like, yeah, go ahead, give us the keys, give us the cards, get your stuff and get the hell out of here. All right, so I'm walking with all my crap about a half a mile till I got to like a veterinarian place. Then I go ahead and get an Uber, and they take me to a car rental place. And that car rental place, because I'm like 150, 200 miles away from my house, they don't want me taking it and having to leave it at another place. Like if you rent a car there, they want you to bring that car back. They were low on supply. So I'm there waiting all day. They're like, hey, if somebody brings in more cars and stuff like that, you still have a chance. So I'm sitting in there waiting all day, and this is the only rent-a-car place that's around that I was able to get to. I'm waiting there all day. At around 5 or 6, when they closed, whatever time it was, they're like, sorry, we can't help you. We can take you to a hotel room, or you could come here tomorrow and try to figure it out. At that point, I had to call a friend. Uber would have cost too much money. I called the same friend that took me out there and offered the person money could they please pick me up? And they said, yeah. So it costed me money, costed me time, and it costed all the research I was doing. At that point, I was like, I think I'm 100% done with truck driving. I know that OTR wasn't that as bad with the trailers and stuff, but there was a lot of other things that went on, being treated like an animal, being disrespected constantly by other drivers, by dispatch, by anybody and everybody. I worked that hard for that little bit of money, and then all that money was gone once I stopped working that place. It really made me feel like a slave, and then when I go ahead and start applying my skills in a local regional position where I could maybe have a little bit of a work-life balance. I don't think that's asking for too much. And when I do that, I don't even get what I'm supposed. I don't even get what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I'm not getting what's required to keep everything legal. I'm getting crap. I'm also getting toxic people that think it's funny to mess with somebody's livelihood by giving them crappy runs. Purposely them going out of their way to ruin me, and I'm trying to be positive about it, and I'm hard-headed, and I stand it, and I guess I was sticking and clinging to it, and so when that happened, I'm like, man, the last 3 places that I checked orientation out was one failed road test because I saw a sign and I thought that was the trick. The second one was being a yard dog. You lied to me to get in there, and then on top of that, what you want to pay me is something that I'm going to lose my house I'm going to lose my apartment no matter what. And the third one, wait a minute, some of your equipment is messed up. The ELD is extremely important. Because of that, you are now telling me that I won't get my bonus, and then you also lied to me to get there, and I was so desperate, I guess, that I was willing to overlook that. Like, I had to do something, I had to make money, I had to apply myself. I was thinking, maybe things will get better. I was being too positive, and after that, I was like, why would I, with everything that's happened, with that stuff, not even including everything else, but it's one paycheck away from being homeless. And then at that point, I was started trying to full-time DoorDash, full-time, when that app's not working, use another app, Uber Eats, or multi-app, that kind of stuff. And for some months, I was barely paying my rent. And I'm like, you know what? I came to a point where if I don't make close enough money for this rent, next month I need to start living in my car. I need to do that, and maybe the money that I save from not paying my rent will help bust me up. Not bust me up, but help me do good. The truth is now living out here is ended up costing me more money. I'm having a harder time saving, but things are going to change with that. You know, I do see some light at the end of the tunnel. I'm applying myself very well. This is winter time, so last night it was 19 degrees. It costs money for me to run my gas. You know what I'm saying? I also, you know, put on a lot of miles doing this kind of work. You know, so I know that it's not sustainable for forever. But I have you know, I'm trying to get in the right groove of things, you know. But yeah, and a lot of other people, they're one paycheck away from being homeless too. You know, you work so hard and you become like a slave to a job, and maybe you're able to save a couple $100 at the end of the month, and then maybe after a few years you got a couple thousand. But what happens 9 times out of 10 is literally, wait a minute, you get hit with an unexpected fee. You know, like, oh man, now I gotta fix the engine. Oh, there goes the money I just saved. And then, you know, the people who have kids and stuff, they're like, you know, they don't, you know, their kids don't see dad. Their kids don't see mom very much. You're working so much just to keep a roof over their head, and you have nothing. You know, you're literally just like I was, and like a lot of people are, one paycheck away from being homeless. If something should happen where you get sick, if your car just magically busted right now, and it was you know, between paying your mortgage or your rent or fixing your car, you're going to be in the same situation. And there's a report like something like 60 to 80% of people don't even have $1,000 in their savings account. You know, if you get hurt at your job, and it might take a while before workman's comp, or let's say that you can sue them and make money. Let's say that you know, that still takes time. How far is that $1,000 going to take you? You know, is a workman's comp going to take you 3 months before you get paid out? You could be evicted by then. You know, so that's basically what I wanted to talk about. Thank you for everybody rocking with me. I appreciate it, especially if you stay till the end. Please drop a comment. Please run those likes up. You know, subscribe if you like my content. I have a lot of other videos, you know, that really go into you know, more detail, and some topics that you know, that I think you guys would enjoy watching. If you want to send me a donation, my Cash App's the same as my YouTube name. It's AlienAscend. I'll leave it in the description below. And thank you for rocking with me.